Bryant, everyone keeps putting the test question, is he going to pass this test, and this test to you? Has he passed the tests a quarter way through the season, and does he have any more tests to pass?
Well, we're 3-0, so I don't know how we. I don't know, and he's played really well, so he's passed the test so far. But 3 games don't make a season. We got a long way to go. We go out and stink it up this week, and they'll yeah, I told you so. He put the other guy in. He just needs to focus on what he's been doing, and so after 3 games, that's all we can go on. He's done great. He's done great. Proud of him.
Coach, in the interest of full disclosure, are you at least mildly jealous that only your players are eligible to win that O'Rourke McFadden leather helmet?
Yeah, that's the main goal, is to keep that trophy here. That's a neat thing. It's always fun to see who wins that. I've slipped it on a time or two, so I've gotten to wear it a couple times. I think Deshaun won it maybe last year. Wayne won it last year. Okay, but that is a special trophy to me. It really is. There's a lot of trophies around here, but that's one that really means a lot to me, because that was my first win up there at BC, and I still remember Spiller putting that helmet on, and I mean, you'd have thought we won the Super Bowl. It was an awesome moment, and so I've always been very fond of that trophy, and we'd like to keep it here, but we know we got a lot of work to do. It's all right.
It's obvious that this team is very well led by the players. Is there one player that you think is the guy in that locker room, or do you have a group? And then is there one player that has surprised you with his leadership capabilities?
I wouldn't say that he's the guy. I think that's what makes this team so neat, is we have a very accountable group. There is a lot of leadership from all levels on this team, and as far as the guy that surprises me, maybe Cleland, just because he is just a second-year player for us, and he was one of those guys in the recruiting process that was kind of quiet. He really was. I mean, he just never said boo. I mean, he's just a quiet guy, one of the most low-maintenance recruits in the history of recruiting. He just never said anything. And, and he came here, and he just has he's just such a sweet personality to him. Smiles all the time. He's just very kind-hearted and has a good spirit to him. But man, he has really become a great leader for us. And I don't know that I saw that early on in him. But he has become an incredible leader, and just takes a lot of pride in how he mentors the younger players, Rudolph and Justin, Xavier Kelly. I mean, he really goes out of his way to help lead those guys. So and not really surprised in this fall camp. I mean, because I saw it really last year, but just overall in general, I didn't really see that as much in the recruiting process as to where he is right now. But the best thing we got right now is we got leadership at every position. I mean, across the board. Every single position we've got really good leadership. At receiver, Dion and Ray and Renfro have done an awesome job, and Travion Thompson doesn't get talked about enough. Those 4 guys have done a great job of leading. Kelly Bryant has become an outstanding leader. That's probably an area where, as he kind of solidified himself, he just took it upon himself to lead the guys. Our guys up front and the offensive line, all of them. I don't really think there's one guy that I just say, hey, man, Eric McLean, Dalton Freeman. I don't really have that guy that I just say, hey, he's the bell cow of the group. Maybe Robbie would answer that differently. I just think they're all close. They like each other, and they're a very accountable group. Same thing at backer. Just good people, all those guys. So it's fun. It's fun to come to work with these guys every day.
Talk about the season Dorian O'Daniel's having so far.
He's had 3 great games. He really is he's kind of the Vic Beasley of this team. you know. Very similar kind of paths. You always saw the talent, always saw the flash. He's always had the skill. Had to really learn. He played running back in high school. Vic played running back. And we decided we're going to play him at linebacker. And, you know, he didn't know linebacker from corner when he got to Clemson. And really that kind of limited him early. Just a lot to learn. But, man, what a football player. But he just has put the work in. He had to physically mature and develop. Had to get serious about football. He's a very well-rounded guy. Has a lot of interests. And I think he had to really get serious about being great. And, man, he did. That redshirt sophomore year, you kind of started to see some real signs in him. And then last year, he just kind of like Vic Beasley, that fourth year, redshirt junior, just took off. And all he's done is this year is just pick up beyond where he left off. And it's been fun. But he's become a great leader for us, incredibly accountable. He's one of the most studious guys we got now, I think, in his preparation habits. Very versatile. You know, we've moved him around a little bit in a couple of our packages. But he's unique and dynamic. I mean, he's not a real, kind of like Vic, doesn't really fit the prototype. Maybe of what, you know, maybe you'd want him a little bigger or whatever, but golly, he's something special. I'm really proud of him. He can cover, he can support in the run game, and he can run people down, and he can tackle. I mean, he's a complete player.
Take some pride as a staff in having some of those kind of guys that develop later in their career and are able to get better and better throughout.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I always try to remind the media, you know, because everybody wants to. It's on to the next guy. It's on to the next guy. I know that sells papers and all that stuff because that's who's fresh on everybody's mind. But you got guys that have been working here. Quarterback's a pretty good example. You know. Raise your hand in here if you thought Kelly Bryant was going to be the starting quarterback after 3 games and be 3-0 and just did what he did at Louisville. It's a short room in here, short list. You know what? He gets better. Guys work. That's why you recruit them. I didn't recruit Kelly Bryant because I thought he was a bad player. Recruited Kelly because I thought he had everything we needed, but he needed to develop, and you have guys like that. I always, you know, equate it to sometimes you get guys and you just open up the box, no assembly required, ready to go. You know, Sammy Watkins. Like, wow. After 2 days, you go, well, okay. And then you get other guys, it's all in the box, but you got to put it together. It just takes a little while. But at the end of the day, whether it's Kevin Dodd or Shaq Lawson, you get the same thing, right? Maybe it took this guy, it took a little longer. You know, sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's just knowledge. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's technique, and but that's what I love about this game. It's a developmental game. We had a kid here, Reed Webster. He's still one of my favorite players. Reed Webster, I didn't know if he would ever play. After about his redshirt sophomore year, I'm like, I just don't know. And then his 5th year, I think he finished second for offensive MVP. He played all 5 positions in the offensive line. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. What a great story. You know, Ryan Carter. You know, that's why we recruit football players and guys that fit our culture, guys that it's important to. And you know, we don't go recruit guys because you know we didn't recruit Adam Humphries because of Sharon Peak, which was the stories. We recruited Adam Humphries because he was a baller, and it was real obvious to see to us. I don't know why anybody else couldn't see it, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. You know, I mean, I love to see guys develop and get better. We got a lot of guys all over, and sometimes you got those superstars that show up and they shine quickly, and that's great. But other guys, most guys have to develop. Taylor Hearn, you know, man, Taylor Hearn's playing as good a football for us right now as anybody. Probably playing as good in the line as anybody in his conference. In fact, he was ACC Lineman of the Week this week. He didn't know what a pass protection was when he got here. You know, this guy was in a 4-point stance and, you know, had a lot to learn. And so he just had to kind of develop into what he is today. But he always had the tools. So it's fun. That's what makes this game great. You get football players come in all shapes and sizes, and to see them grow and mature and develop, it's pretty awesome.
Can you talk about Will Spears' impact this year? Looking back at your opponent's starting position after a punt, on average they're on the 17-yard line.
Spires, yeah, he's doing a great job for us. You know, I really felt like he could be a weapon, and again, after 3 games, he's been as advertised. He's done an awesome job. Another developmental guy. That's why we recruited him. You know, he came to camp. He was a quarterback and a shortstop, and he wasn't a punter. He just was the guy that went out there and punted it. He was a quarterback and a shortstop and a basketball player, just a well-rounded athlete. But you know, when he came to camp, I was like, you know, this guy's got a real shot here. He didn't have any coaching, no training. You know, he wasn't a guy that just, you know, punted all the time. And so, you know, he redshirted last year and really worked on his craft. I mean, he has really worked really hard to become a punter and to become a technical guy. And I'm just really proud of him, man, because he's got a great mindset that you love to see in one of your specialists. And, you know, his confidence is really high right now, as it should be, because he's had a lot of success. But it's definitely something that's important because that's hidden yardage. I mean, you know, your defense feels good about getting a stop, but now all of a sudden you run your offense out there and you're on the inside the 5-yard line because the guy's just launched 160 yards. That's like a turnover almost. So he's a weapon, and he's just going to get better. I mean, he just gotta keep growing, keep improving, stay consistent. Again, you know, 3 games don't make a career. You know, just stay focused on what you're doing, and I think. But when it's all said and done, I think he could be, you know, one of the best we've had here.
How much does it help to have his dad here to help him with his technique?
It's been great. You know, he's a lot better punter than his dad. We remind Bill that every day. But I think it's been great. You know, and Bill don't mess with him too much. You know, he'll correct him some here and there, but Bill does a great job for us. He's been one of the great additions that we've had through the Tiger Trust program, and you know, he's been with us now. This is his 2nd year, and you know, just very experienced and a winner. You know, he's a winner, and I know it's been pretty neat for him to see Will, you know, grow and mature. I gave him a little high five the other night on the sideline. So how about that boy of yours right there? So it's pretty neat, pretty neat.
Can you speak to the job Streeter's done since he's been here, some of the finer points of playing quarterback, the mechanics, and the footwork, and all that? Yeah,
Streeter does a phenomenal job for us. You know, he is. I knew I was going to hire Streeter. It was just a matter of when. I knew I was going to hire Streeter 7 years ago. Just a matter of the right timing, and always stayed in contact with him. And, you know, he did a great job. He was in the 1AA ranks for quite a while there up at Liberty and then Richmond, and just always did an awesome job. But I had a chance to work. He was a GA when I first came here, so I had a chance to get to know him a little bit. And just, you know, he's got a great family. You know, his wife, Ashley's awesome. She's a Clemson grad as well. But Street is he's just the perfect fit, you know, between, you know, Tony and Jeff. Street was just a great fit. And he is a very good quarterback coach. He's a great coordinator. He's also our recruiting coordinator. Does an awesome job with that, and really kind of, you know, being that liaison between the coaches and our all the stuff we got going on in recruiting. But he's a very good technical coach, and he's got a great demeanor. That's the other thing I like about Street. You know, he's steady. He's a very poised guy. A great demeanor for those guys and how he handles them. And he's tough. He's demanding, but he really does a good job with his approach with these guys and just how he handles them day in and day out. But works really hard as far as his preparation each week in and week out and attention to details with those guys. So he's been a great addition to our staff, and we've won a bunch of games since he got here. And, you know, he's done an awesome job in developing those guys. I mean, he did a great job with Deshaun. You know, Deshaun, obviously, 2 national championship appearances in a row, was a great player. But Streeter really did a great job with Deshaun. A really, really good job week in and week out. And that's just kind of rubbed off on to Kelly, and the same thing with those other guys. I'm proud of Brandon. He's been outstanding.
Devin, with all the elite speed and athletes you guys continually bring in, why do you feel you maybe haven't been more dynamic in the punt and kick return game, as far as maybe going back to the C.J. Spillers, the Fords, some of those other guys that took it to the house regularly?
Well, we don't get as many opportunities in the kick return game as we used to. So that's one reason. You know, they moved the kick up from back in those days, so you don't get as many return opportunities. A lot of times it's kicked in the end zone, and then we try not to give up a lot of points. So we don't get quite as many opportunities, but we've had some big ones. We've had some big ones at critical times. You know, Artavis Scott, I think, was a pretty good returner, and you know, did a nice job for us. You know, probably the difference in the Louisville game last year. Adam Humphreys took one to the house against Louisville. That was definitely the difference in that game. The kick return by Fuller in the Alabama game at the highest of the brightest of lights. That was huge, the field position that he created. And we had another big one in the game earlier that we got a block in the back that had nothing to do with the play. So, you know, I think we've improved. I think we've gotten better in those areas, and took one to the house last year with Ray. You know, we dropped it on the goal line. So I think we're heading in the right direction, and hopefully we can, you know, get back to, you know, popping a few more of those a little bit more regular along the way.
Anybody got anything else? Thank you.